Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Debra Kilby, Spirit Baby Medium, healer, channel, and author of Rosa's Choice. And I'm coming in with a call from the babies who have so much to share about life, about experiences, about what we're going through. So obviously your individual connections with your babies, wherever that might be, your future babies, your babies who weren't able to stay, and just looking at that that individual connection and your journey with them, because we can often feel like we're on this journey to motherhood on our own, but your babies are always with you. And what they've been sharing also is on this bigger picture scale, as well as the individual level, sharing on a more collective scale how they see the world from their perspective. So we're starting this, which I intend or hope to be a series, once a month, sharing their perspective on different aspects of the world and of life. So the first message that they were coming through with was around the Roe versus Wade. So really about women's choice, termination, that whole experience, which is so divisive, and also hugely emotive for those who have faced this experience, for those who just feel it's totally not in their sphere. How can this happen? So really the babies want to try and give us an idea of what's going on from their perspective, from this difference perspective, higher perspective, if you like, although we're not higher, lower, but this vibration that they can see and that they can feel through. Okay, so my intention for sharing this message is to empower women into their own sense of knowing, that you feel loved and guided by Spirit Baby, and that you receive healing and clarity. So those are the three intentions that I've created for this space. And of course you can set your own intention. Whilst you're listening, you'll be receiving a transmission as well of energy, of beautiful healing energy. And being kind to yourself, noticing what you're feeling, where you feel judgment, where you feel guilt, where you feel it's wrong, where you feel you're wrong, all these big emotions that come from this experience. And what the babies are saying is that that's the whole point. It brings up huge amounts of emotion, huge amounts of old woundings that were there long before you and your baby connected in this particular way. So this message, there's other aspects to consider. The question I asked was, what message I asked Rosa, my Spirit Baby, what do you wish to share with women who are affected by the decision of Roe versus Wade, on either side, actually. So we're all in our own experience, we're all doing, there's no right or wrong, there's no division. The babies don't see division, they're aiming to bring us all together. We don't have to agree with each other, just respect where each other is at. Okay, so there will be other aspects to consider, so just be in mind that this isn't like an all-encompassing message. It's for women, mostly for those women who have been through this experience, or who work with women who've been through this experience, or interested in how they feel themselves about the issue of termination or release, as the babies like to call it as well. Okay, so I'm going to read the full message first, which is quite long, so just soak up what's going on, and then we're going to break down the message into different sections, and the sections that this message covers are the effects of termination on the mother, on the baby, and energetically. We're going to be looking at baby's perspective and how they see it, what's going on with them with this experience. We're going to be looking at why there is, why others feel the need to get involved, why others feel the need to take responsibility for another person's life choices and experiences. And also that bigger picture, so really around creation, life, empowerment, being in your sovereign being, and why we might feel, or women might feel, where this where their choices are not valued, or their choices are not heard, or they're not allowed to have choice. You know, there's a bigger picture, but a bigger picture behind that we're going to look at as well. So first of all, let's open the space with a lovely breath, and just taking a moment to breathe, and imagine you're calling yourself back from across all time and space, people and events, just allowing yourself to be here to listen, be in observation of all the thoughts and emotions that may come up, knowing you are not them. This experience doesn't define you. You are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You are so much more. So being curious about anything that may come up for you, and, you know, feeling very much self-responsibility for those. And of course, I'm here afterwards if there are any questions. Okay, so knowing we are surrounded in a beautiful divine pyramid of diamond light, going to that pyramid way up beyond the sun, and pouring diamond light down the sides of the pyramid, and creating a beautiful sanctuary of healing and clarity. Feeling yourself held within this space. Imagine the sides of that pyramid just swooping in for the moment, just into your body and out, and feel that diamond light, waterfall of light all the way through your body, and then sweeping out, filtering anything from the day, from the sleep time, and just expanding again, and just feeling that space around you clearing. Feeling you've got more room to breathe. And if you wish to, you can imagine placing 4 outward facing mirrors, one in front of you, one behind, and one on either side. And this just really is your boundaries. It helps connect, you know, it helps keep your space, your energy, knowing it's yours and not anyone else's. Anything else coming in from the external is just reflected back off those mirrors, just allowing you to keep your space beautifully yours. And inviting Mother Earth to join us, feeling this lovely rumble of energy as you bring your awareness to your feet, the soles of your feet, and that tingling beneath your feet. As you know, you are connected always to the energies of the earth and her support and her love. And just feel this energy blossoming up through your feet and into the space. Again, opening up the space, and it's joy, the energy of joy that Mother Earth is bringing in. She's just brought in the hugest bouquet of natural flowers. And imagine that you're enjoying the sense of those flowers, the feel of them, the openness, all the colours. And asking Mother Earth to ground you into her heart and womb. You're held and connected from above and below. You are the bridge between the two. Inviting in your guides and angels, knowing that you'll receive what you need to receive, hear what you are ready to hear, need to hear. The rest will follow when you're ready. Your guardian angel standing very close, right in front of you, in fact, just off to the left-hand side. Just again helping to filter any information for you. Of course, inviting in spirit babies. And if you have any babies in spirit, if you're listening to this, just inviting their energy in to hold, love, and support you. So they're all kind of bouncing in, flying in through that diamond filter to join you. They're also bringing this energy of joy and play, so lifting the vibration on what could be a very heavy topic. Okay, so unconditional love, gorgeous. And you can listen to the message in this relaxed state with your eyes closed or open, whatever feels good for you. Okay, so Roe versus Wade. My dear women, I am happy to come to you now and offer love and condolences for all that is transpiring on your planet. For it is indeed a great shock that one's own physical and mental health and well-being is not in the charge of you, but seemingly in the charge of others. And we ask you to take your time with this and let your own soul speak on the matter. There is nothing so grievous as to the releasing of another soul, and it is indeed true that this has a deep effect on both you as the mother and of the babies and of your baby soul. This is not a decision to be taken lightly and at whim, and therefore rarely is. But this does not stop the depth of feeling and repercussions that come from such an act. And my dears, the repercussions are not as you think, and most certainly not as your governments think, or those who are in fear of themselves and in fear of their own lives for all the wrongs they know they have done and committed, whether this be on soul level, conscious or unconscious levels. But as I said, the layers and layers are deep, and my dears, so are the repercussions, as many of you will know. But I will say right here and now that the deep repercussions are not those of punishment and the wrath of God. They are, in fact, the blessings of God that allow for the age-old wounds of guilt, blame, shame, and wrongdoing to be seen and felt, and not as a form of punishment, but a form of healing. These age-old wounds that have been present long before this time you were in connection with your baby soul. And it is these feelings that you can be in if you so wish, for they are as old and as true as the hills you seek solace in. But my dear, it is this next layer we are asking you to go to ask why they are there in the first place. Why is there guilt over a decision that largely must be? Why is there a death of the self and all you knew yourself to be? And why is it the case that it is you, the woman, that is made to be felt so responsible for the life of another, when it is the others who seek to turn that responsibility away from you and onto them, as if they know best, as if they know the truth, and hold the truth and have a righteous indignation that it is their responsibility to protect the life of an unborn, while simultaneously pushing this responsibility onto the woman who is finding herself in the position of a responsibility to herself and her baby. It makes no sense. Do you see how complex this has become? That the truth of another for their own means and wounds is simultaneously blaming the woman, whilst also pushing the woman to the brink of responsibility, whilst then whipping this away from her as if she had no right to it in the first place. Do you see how this is messed up, and that it is inconsistent with the choice they wish to espouse, because they wish to take on the responsibility for the unborn child, while simultaneously blaming the mother for their need to do so? Why not simply leave the responsibility with the mother and blame and shame them as they wish to do, but do not be inconsistent with their thoughts as to why they are doing it? So they are doing it out of fear, and they are doing it out of a lack of understanding and empathy that who they really want to take responsibility for is themselves. And they do not know how to do this. And so they demand that they take responsibility for others, and particularly others who can't answer them back or argue with them or fight with them. So they are weak with their knowledge of life and can only see how they are unable to take and meet with their own life and not actually enjoy who they are, that they have to get involved with the lives of others. And these are your so-called politicians, leaders, and those who have not come from a loving place or a place where their own needs are met. They are asking for the responsibility because they feel they were not responsible for their own being, and that neither were those whom they felt were responsible for them and looking for them to keep them safe. And so, my dears, it is important to see their wounds and where this is coming from. This need to feel responsible for all the unborn babies, because they themselves were not and never felt that they had that responsible person looking after them. So send them love and wish for them to change their own view of themselves, and then they may be able to better look after themselves, and therefore not to feel they have the right to project this and take it out on others. Or take it on for others, sorry. For this is the only sense we can make of this. And yet the issue of termination is such a huge one for you all. And just as they are not able to take responsibility for themselves, you, my dears, through this process, are showing that you are more than able to make your choice and able to take responsibility for your actions, able to carry the guilt, and not only that, go deeper into it and ask, why is it there? For it is not there because of your choice, but it is there as a control mechanism over your choices that is coming from a fear of others, that they are not able to make choices and look up and face themselves. So why should others be able to do so? And so, my dears, ask why this guilt is there, for there is a great depth of story here to explore. And you will find it in your Bible, and you will find it in your Torah and all other manner of writings, that it cannot be that the woman is in charge of choice. It is then the world will collapse. And this is indeed not true, but it is true for those who wish it to be so. But then it is the responsibility of the woman, Eve, and not Adam, the man, who is bringing about the downfall of man. And this is so buried in the psyche of the masses, it appears to be true, when in fact the shame and blame comes about purely because of it, and the untruth that it was the woman who decided to eat the apple, and the man who seemingly had no mind of their own went along with it. Do you see, my dears, how this lack of taking responsibility runs so deep? But my dears, it is you are not to feel this any longer, and the repercussions of the others who believe they have a right to take over responsibility are indeed the ones learning the many lessons that they are very far in their authentic power over it. And indeed this will make them weaker, for it has stirred up all sorts of patterns and programs for them. So know too, they will not be left off the hook, that this is too their day of reckoning, you may say, for they will feel the power of choice, and that is the energy that will help them to realize that they must indeed be in their own choice and responsibility first, before thinking and believing they have a right over others. Whereas you, my dears, those of you who have been faced with this choice, now have a choice to feel threatened and at the mercy of those who feel they cannot be responsible for themselves, or allow the gift of empowerment through it. This is what your babies are demanding. They are not demanding justice or demanding that they are protected, for they surely feel they already are. They are very much already in their choice, and they do not need the choice of others who seemingly want to protect them, when in reality it is the others who are in so much fear that really want to protect themselves from their own feelings of abandonment and rejection. For this is not the story of the babies. They are strong and know their choice. They do not demand to be born or demand to be released. They simply are in their own experience and their own choice. And that choice may be to come in and protect the woman who feels she has no choice, to show her just how brave and true she is to make her choice. Yes, perhaps in fear, but also of love. Love for her baby, herself, and her life. So do not listen to what these others say. They are not yet ready to hear it, and one day they may well be. And it is they are exerting their power. And also, it is that it may be time to exert yours. Not in the same way of demanding they change their mind, for that just puts you in the same control camp as them, but instead being in your power of self-awareness, self-responsibility, self-care and love. Be curious, explore even the power imbalances you feel, the guilt, the shame, and the many reasons you may have been in wish of to go through this experience. You are not helpless, you are not bad, you are not wrong. You are exercising your choice and finding depths of you never knew existed. That is your power, my loves, and that is the power of your babies with you. For they are wishing to bring an end to this maelstrom of emotions, of backlash and power imbalance that has long dominated this scene. It is not that your babies are punishing you, they are helping you to rise. They are helping you to be stronger than you ever felt before. to recognize your rights and your value and your power to decide and create from that place, and not create from a place of no choice, no empowerment, no value. So, my dears, turn this story around for yourselves. Take responsibility for your perceived misdemeanors, your experiences of all the good and bad that seem to have come your way and allowed your baby into your life physically for a short time. For you are the messenger of love, as are they, the love of the self and all that means within any experience you may encounter. And so it is to power, not power over you or another, but in your own sense of self, that this experience can lead. Can you see it that way? For it is not only your choice, your accidents, your attack or your misfortune, or your love that welcomed your baby into your space for however long a period of time, but also their love, their choice, and their self-responsibility to be a part of it. You are not alone. And for all the souls who are released, this was and is their mission. For once we are all in our power of choice and self-responsibility, they will no longer need to come to you and alert you to why you are not in this. So it is. Okay, so just taking a breath with that one. Okay. Okay, so just absorbing that huge message, and there's always so many layers and levels, and so you can just listen, stop, think about it, and see how you feel about it. Now just kind of breathing that in, and what we'll do is like these 4 kind of different sections that came out for me within that message, to maybe break it down a little bit. So the first part, the effects of termination. We all know and feel, whether we've been in that position or not, that it goes deep. It's huge experience. So so this is what Rosa says about the effects of termination. My dear women, I am happy to come to you now and offer love and condolences for all that is transpiring on your planet. For it is indeed a shock that one's own physical and mental health and well-being is not in charge of you, but seemingly in the charge of others. And we ask you to take your time with this and let your own soul speak on the matter. So let's just take a breath a moment and feel the emotions that come up from feeling like someone else has charge of your own physical and mental health and well-being, that someone else is in charge of you, because really this is about power, and it is about imbalance in that way, and who you are, who has a right over your choices, your decisions, your body. So let's take a moment to let your soul speak on the matter. How does it feel? Someone else has power over your choice, your body, your health. And anywhere you're feeling, wherever there's any tension or emotions, and it might feel great. It might feel like I can hand responsibility over there. That's fine. I don't have to think about it then. There's that way. Really feeling into your body, does that feel good? And where in your body does it not feel good? Okay, so wherever you're feeling that in your body, just focusing in on that energy, putting a color to that energy you're feeling. And actually what they're showing me, what Spirit is showing me, what the baby's showing me, that around the navel area in particular, so sacral, in between the solar plexus and the sacral, around the navel. And also down to the sacral as well. This belief of I'm under attack. Okay, so it's just an energy, it's just a belief, it doesn't have to be true. And if we're feeling that and we hold that energy of I'm under attack, then it's going to feel even more intense and drawing those experiences to you. So actually it's the baby's coming in, and it's like little silver starlight energy coming in all around your sacral chakra, your navel chakra, where your umbilical cord would be attached. And it's really going into your navel, so feeling this kind of silvery, glittery energy, star energy, going into your navel as if it's a cord. And that belief of I'm under attack, they're just releasing that now. If you choose to, you can hold on to it, of course. Just be curious, why would I need to hold on to that? And if it feels good, just inviting you to feel this like cord of silver starry light, picking up that belief. And just drawing that all the way out of your navel, come out. As it does so, it's releasing something in the sacral chakra as well. And the image I'm getting is all the babies, and they're in so much joy. There's no serious, it might feel very serious, and certainly is a serious topic and experience, but their energetic, the healing they're offering now is you're not under attack. So let's release that belief, so it's not you're not magnetizing any of those experiences, and you're not seeing the world in that way. There's a different way of looking at the world. So they're just really giving a beautiful clearing. So you might feel this gentle tugging coming from your navel chakra and your sacral chakra. And breathing that out. And if you don't feel under attack, what do you feel instead? And it could be, I'm safe. Be very neutral feeling. And what the babies are coming in with now is the poppy, the flower of the poppy. Beautiful red poppy. So that poppy must signify something. And they've also placed a white poppy as well. So there's red and there's white. They're just placing that into your sacral chakra. And I'm hearing peace and love, peace and love. Just feeling that opening into that area. Letting go of the belief I'm under attack. Just feeling the red and white of the poppies opening up, peace and love, peace and love. And breathing that through your body. Just checking in on that belief now. I'm under attack. How true does that feel for you? 10 being really true, 0, it's not there at all. And if it's still quite high, just imagine you can even like rub around that area. Just imagine literally pulling that energy out if you wish. Doing some further healing on it is okay. Sometimes it takes a while. But they're very clearly saying you are not under attack. So if we're looking at focusing on Roe versus Wade, it can feel like an attack for sure, on your choice, on your body. And they're, the baby's saying you're not under attack. Okay, so releasing that energy. You can have a clearer vision of what actually is going on. Lovely, taking a breath. Okay, so beautiful. Nice bit of unexpected healing with that one. Okay, and then the message around the effects of termination. We know this is deep. So, there is nothing so grievous as the releasing of another soul. And it is indeed true that this has a deep effect on both you as the mother and of the baby soul. This is not a decision to be taken lightly and at whim, and therefore rarely is. And those who, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but on the whole, this is an experience you really would not be choosing, I would say. Certainly not with the women that I've met. Anyway, it's very deep and it's long lasting and deep effects. So not to be taken lightly, and therefore rarely is. Okay, but this does not stop because you make that choice. Just because you have made that choice, it does not stop the depth of feeling and repercussions that come from such an act. And my dears, the repercussions are not as you think, and most not certainly not as your governments think, or those who are in fear of themselves and in fear of their own lives for all the wrongs they know they have done and committed, whether this be on soul level, conscious or unconscious. The layers are deep. So are the repercussions, as many of you will know. But I will say right here and now that the deep repercussions are not those of punishment and wrath of God. They are, in fact, the blessings of God that allow for the age-old wounds of guilt, blame, shame, and wrongdoing to be seen and felt, not as a form of punishment, but a form of healing. These age-old wounds that have been present long before this time you were in connection with your baby soul. So first of all, if you don't like the word God, it's fine. It's just a word, source, energy, creator, whatever you want to call it. So these age-old wounds. So what I feel is being said about the effects of termination here is that those wounds that you feel, what you are feeling, and all of the huge emotions that come up from what you are feeling have been present long before this experience. So they're just showing you, highlighting to you what was already there. And if it is these feelings that you can be in, if you so wish, for they are as old and as true as the hills you seek solace in. So they've been there for millennia. These feelings of blame, shame, guilt, they haven't just appeared because of the experience or because of this experience. They've been there. And then the message goes on to say, but my dear, it is to the next layer we are asking you to go to ask why they're there in the first place. Why is there guilt over a decision that largely must be? Okay, so largely must be, let's hold on to that. Why is there a death of the self and all you knew yourself to be? So that might be something to journal on perhaps. So not just I feel these things, why am I feeling them? Where have they come from? Why are they there? How long have they been there? What effects are they having on me? Is it because of this decision? And what this message is saying, it's not because of this, it's not the effect of this decision, this one decision. It's a build-up of all those many times that you may have felt guilt or shame or that you've done something wrong. Whatever it is, it's been there for a long time, and your babies are offering you, and this is the healing aspect, if you choose to see it in that way, of, okay, I'm going to look at this blame, I'm going to look at the guilt, I'm going to look at the shame, I'm going to look at what I'm feeling, hold those feelings and find out why they're there, and look at the stories behind them. Do they need to be there? Are they mine? Are they old wounds? And why am I holding on to them? Do I still need them? Your baby is showing you them very, very clearly. What do you want to do with that? Do you want to hold on to them and feel and define yourself by them and your story? Or do you want to say, this isn't me. This isn't me. This is not feeling good for me. And then finding ways, going through your healing, to go deeper into those feelings. So something to journal on for sure. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Just the effects are very deep and long lasting, but it's an opportunity, if you choose to see it in that way, of going deep into those wounds and getting to the real root of why they are there in the first place, why you are being shown them because of this experience. And your baby's very much with you on that. So the second part of that message, why others feel the need to get involved in choice. Now, this is really interesting. So basically, in this part of the message, it was holding those, the people who are feeling they need to take responsibility for your choices. what the message is basically saying here is that those who feel the need to take on responsibility for the unborn child, to protect them, to protect life, what they are really consciously or unconsciously, mostly unconsciously, is that they want to protect themselves from those big feelings of abandonment and rejection that they themselves potentially may or likely have felt either in the womb or in their childhood or in some aspect of life. So it's this need to protect, I need to take responsibility, because they're not looking at themselves. So I would go back and listen to that part of the message, because it really helps bring in some compassion and helps you to see another side of the story, so you don't feel under attack, you don't feel like, but you can see the wounds of those other, the wounds of those who don't understand your experience and automatically go into this emotional fear-based response of, I need to stop this, because what they really want to do underneath all of that is to protect themselves from any feeling of abandonment, rejection, whatever was going on when they were in the womb, or at their own birth, or with their own family story and ancestral story. So when we look at so this is basically about self-responsibility. So when we can look at why we want to control somebody else, or why we don't like what someone else does, we don't have to make the same decision as them. If you're in your authentic power and your authentic truth, you don't have the same reaction. You don't have the need to control someone else or have power over them or make their decision or take their choice away of responsibility, because you're in your own sense of self. So you can respect, you don't have to agree with, but you can respect that other person's experience. When you're not in your authentic power, then you're going to project all of your own woundings out to anyone who to whichever size audience you might have within that. So it's just for us all, actually, not just, in all aspects. Where am I judging? Where am I trying to control someone else? Where am I feeling someone else's decision is wrong, and I want to stop them from making that? Now, this is not saying this is what anything is right or wrong. It's saying where that wounding is coming from in relation to Roe versus Wade. The fear of abandonment and rejection and their own baby self needs and their own child cells needs not being met is where this fear of needing to control and, in their mind, protect the babies. But what they're really doing underneath it all is protecting them, wanting to protect themselves. Okay, so that was really interesting. And also what that part of the message was bringing up was this inconsistency about responsibility, blaming the mother who wants to be responsible for herself and her baby and her life, when they and taking that responsibility away and thinking they know better. And they can still blame and shame them as they wish to do, but it's what the message says: do not be inconsistent with your thoughts as to why you are doing it, why you are feeling you want to take responsibility for that unborn child, whilst blaming the mother who wants to take responsibility. Why not leave the responsibility with the mother? So that's another question. Whichever side of the fence you're on, why not simply leave the responsibility with the mother? Why the need to get involved? Look at that for yourself first, and then you'll have a clearer view on the situation for somebody else, perhaps. Okay, so the other area that came up was you and your babies within this, and this was, the babies is really powerful. The babies are not demanding justice. They are not demanding that they are protected. They are not demanding to be born or demanding to be released. They are simply in their own experience and their own choice. And that choice may be to come in and protect the woman who feels she has no choice, to show her just how brave and true she is to make her choice. Yes, perhaps in fear, but also of love. Love for her baby, herself, and her life. So this is the perspective of the babies. They are in their own experience. They are in their own choice. They are with you in that choice. They're not demanding anything. Okay, you are in it together. You are in this beautiful relationship with each other. However that relationship looks, You are in it together. They're not demanding anything, and they're certainly not demanding that they are protected, because they already feel they are. Okay, so that's just one to kind of breathe in. Yeah, there's no demand. I'm just feeling into that energy of demand, like I'm demanding this to happen. And there can be a lot of this energy of demanding. I demanding you do what I say. I demand that this happens. I demand that I'm right. Again, it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place, if I don't get my own way, if if someone else doesn't believe what I believe, then I don't feel safe. People who try and project their ideas onto somebody else is because ultimately they don't feel safe with their own truth, because perhaps they feel that maybe it's not their truth. So there's this demand energy. So they're just drawing my attention, the babies are drawing my attention to this energy of demanding. And it can be an energy around motherhood as well, can't it? It's quite strong. Oh, this demanding child or demanding mother. So they're really drawing my attention to this energy of demand. So what they're showing me is all around. It's like an energetic kind of ice cream kind of energy. That's the shape, one of those twirly ice creams. It's all just around here, this energy of demanding, whether that's you feel people are demanding your attention, or they're making demands on you, or I want that kind of demanding energy. So they're really highlighting this right now. It's kind of just under the nose. It's from under the nose and under the ears and all around and above your head, like this kind of ice cream type shape. So let's see what they are offering with this energy of demand to ease, release this feeling of someone's making demands on me, or demanding, or I'm demanding my choice, demanding I have my choice. This is just increasing this energy of demand. It's building it. So you don't need to demand when you're in your own truth. Okay? You can command. It's very different. Commanding is you're commanding. You are commanding. You are not demanding, which is a negative. You are commanding. So I command, I'm in my sovereign being and my sovereign choice. You are not demanding. There's a difference, and I hope that makes sense. So anyway, they're really showing this demanding energy. What they're gonna offer. Hold on a second. Okay, so what I'm hearing is I demand to be heard. I demand to be seen. There's a lot of wounds about not being heard or seen, particularly as children, and certainly some experiences, years ago, of children should be heard and not seen, that kind of thing. So if there's that energy that's still playing out around this as well, that's what they're showing me. So actually, they're coming in. They've brought the dragon energy, so take it or leave it. None of this needs to feel take it or leave it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But anyway, they're coming in on these dragons. It's just fun. If you imagine this very powerful energy sort of flying in and flying right under your nose, and then under your nose, just these flames lifting up, starting off like normal fire flames, turning into purple, and it's like this wave of fire and flames. Obviously not burning fire and flames, but cleansing, purifying energy, clearing the energy of demand. You want to be in your command, not demand, and you don't want to attract anything demanding your attention. Someone might command your attention, and you can choose to be in that or not, but the demanding is very different. So feeling this like dragon fire cleansing energy, lifting, and just feeling it moving up over your nose, up to your third eye, up to your crown, and like just blowing that energy away. Honestly, the babies are having so much fun in this space. Okay, and then just feeling this, this energy around, all around your head, your shoulders, about shoulder width wide, shoulder width wide, shoulder width size, just lifting, clearing that energy up, 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 and away, away, away. Setting your intention to clear that energy yourself, asking your higher self, do I need to be demanding, or do I choose to be in my commanding energy or sovereign? It's co-creating. Okay. Lifting and spiraling away. Thank you again. Dragons and babies, they're just spiraling off, off, off. You might feel it quite a few feet above your head, just lifting off. Okay, so that's fun. Again, unexpected, but they are having a lovely time in this space. So I hope you're enjoying their energy and the lightness they bring to what is potentially a very serious and heavy and triggering topic. They're just bringing this lightness and helping to release, or highlighting and releasing some unhelpful energies. Okay, so yeah, that experience with your babies, gorgeous. Okay, I'm just being drawn to this sense of choice again. And just this reminder, so if you have been faced with this choice, whereas you, my dears, those of you who have been faced with this choice, now have a choice to feel threatened and at the mercy of those who are not able to take responsibility for themselves and their fears of abandonment, rejection, not being seen, heard, all of that, or allow the gift of empowerment through it. So your babies are very much here, or all the babies are here to help lift you into that sense of empowerment. This experience does not define who I am. I am finding who I am within it, and allowing all these emotions to help me find who I am underneath them all. Okay, so here we come to the bigger picture. And so, my dears, ask why this guilt is there. Guilt, shame, blame, three of the major emotions that come up around this experience. So, my dears, ask why this guilt is there. For there is great depth of story here to explore, and you will find it in your Bible, and you will find it in your Torah, and all manner of writings, that it cannot be that the woman is in charge of choice. It is then that the world will collapse. And this is indeed not true, but it is true for those who wish it to be so. But then it is the responsibility of the woman Eve, and not Adam the man, who is bringing about the downfall of man. And this is so buried in the psyche of the masses, it appears to be true, when in fact the shame and blame comes about purely because of it. So the blame and shame come from that story in the psyche, and whichever culture you're from, this where women are blamed for terrible things happening. That it was the woman who decided to eat the apple, and the man who seemingly had no mind of their own went along with it. Do you see, my dears, how this lack of taking responsibility runs so deep? So there's, again, lots of different layers to that. If we're looking at the Adam and Eve story, so in the Christian religion, the story is, of course, that the snake comes down with the apple, tempts Eve, Eve bites the apple, offers it to Adam, and then the apple represents sin, and the apple gets stuck in Adam's throat and is a reminder that we are born into sin through our choices, and it was the woman who brought about the downfall of man. So I've been looking at this recently because I've been in contact with this energy core who's known as Lilith, and Lilith is often represented is the snake who was coming in to offer the apple. And I was admittedly in this, well, the man had the choice. He wasn't helpless, like takes himself responsibility. And then I realized that's not very balanced. Like that's really not a balanced view. That's still kind of, there's still a blame energy going on. Oh, you've blamed, that the women have been blamed in this story, but I'm doing the same. I'm like creating that blame. Well, you could have taken a different choice. Why are you blaming me when you had your own choice? So, really, anyway. So I was really looking at this story, and what I was shown was this moment. If we think of Adam as the divine masculine, Eve as the divine feminine, so divine mother, birth, the cosmic womb, everything comes out of the divine mother. So if you imagine this triangle, so Adam and Eve birthed, so masculine, feminine, birth from this point here. And what I was shown was Lilith, or the divine mother. This energy came in with offering the apple, and it wasn't sin, it was life. So the apple represents life, and she said to them, would you like a bite of life? Do you want to take a bite of life? And they both agreed at the same time that that sounded like a really good idea. So there was no temptation. There was no coercion. There was nothing in that story of, here's an apple, it represents life. Do you want to take a bite on life? And together, they agreed that they wanted to take a bite of life. Okay, so the rest is the rest. And I just saw them kind of fall into the dark, basically, but not the dark as in sin, but the dark as in there's a new experience, there's a new evolution, and it wasn't out of coercion, temptation, lust, anything. It was just, okay, I'm going to take that bite of life. And this story has been manipulated, or it's a manipulated story, to bring about these different ideas of responsibility and blaming women. And women can hold on to an awful lot of blame and guilt about a lot of things. And what this message says is coming from that particular story in the psyche, in the collective, which again doesn't have to be true for you. Your truth is your truth. This is just what I've been shown. And it feels kind of nice to have that balance. They did it together. They weren't biting into sin, they were biting into life and choosing life together. Okay, so that felt very unifying, and we can all choose to take that bite of life, and it's together where that creation energy comes in, and that is creation. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That's the bigger picture. So there's lots of different layers to this message. Take it or leave it, it's all fine. I'm just showing up as asked, and it's been really gorgeous. And please, any respectful comments. You don't have to agree with anything, but just look at that sense of self-responsibility. If you feel triggered, why, where, what's that coming from? How do you feel in your own sense of power, your own sense of self, and your authentic truth? When we're in our authentic truth, we don't feel the need to attack anyone else or control anyone else on what they're doing. We're just allowing their experience. You don't have to like their experience, don't have to agree with it, but we can respect the truth that they're in at that time. It's all about taking responsibility for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed the healing as well, that beautiful beliefs, like releasing that belief I'm under attack, and also that demanding energy, which just made me smile. Yeah, command, that's where we want to be, commanding, not demanding. Okay, so I'd love to hear how you feel about this. Thank you so much, and lots of love. Take care. Bye.